Le souvenir est fondamental pour définir d'où je viens, qui je suis et où je m'en vais.
I respect Remembrance Day
because it's such an important date and such an important time.
C'est important de se souvenir.
Not just one single day, November 11.
Le 11 du 11e mois à 11 heures.
I think it's more than just saying thank you for your service.
It's also about the human side and not just the faceless soldier side.
Remembrance Day, I just think about
Passchendaele,
Omaha Beach,
Juno Beach.
Ce qu'on a fait pour les autres pays.
400,000 people took part in D-Day.
La guerre de Corée.
Hill 187.
Stabilization in Congo.
Qu'est-ce qui est arrivé en Haïti?
The children of Afghanistan.
The genocide that lasted 100 days.
For me, it's to remember the fallen.
Toutes les camarades avec qui j'ai combattu.
I remember my husband, Corporal Bryce Keller.
J'ai le capitaine Nicolas Godard dans mon cœur.
Jean-Guy, mon ami.
Caporal-chef Byron Graff.
The families and the civilians and the people who have to deal with war in the places we've been.
I remember World War I veterans when I was growing up.
I remember Chinese Canadian in World War II.
Ces gens-là ont fait des choses qui sont extraordinaires.
They're the heroes. They gave their life.
La raison pourquoi je suis ici, la raison pourquoi je porte cet uniforme, vient de ce qui a été fait par mes prédécesseurs.
We have what we have in Canada today is thanks to our forefathers who have gone before us.
I'm not a hero, I'm a survivor.
Pour ces gens-là, ça vaut la peine de se souvenir puis de montrer du respect envers eux.
Le souvenir continue de me propulser, de me motiver et de me convaincre d'accomplir la mission qui m'est assignée.
Private Major Dennis was born on February 7, 1889 in Lennox, Nova Scotia. On March 13, 1916, at the age of 17, he enlisted in the Canadian Expeditionary Forces in Milton, Ontario. He was unable to finish high school. Despite this, he was willing to take his life so that future Canadians could live in peace despite the fact that casualty numbers were rising and he could be killed in action. Throughout the war, Denny served in 2 battalions. On September 2, 1918, the 102nd Battalion was fighting in the Battle of Arras and was killed in combat at the age of 19. He was buried in the Derry Mill British War Cemetery. He received the British War and Victory Medal for the sacrifices he made for our country.
Richard Fay was born on May 12, 1887 in Neverhaven, England, and died in battle September 2, 1918 in the Drocourt-Queant Line battle. He was in the 47th Battalion as Private Richard Fay and was in the Western Ontario Regiment. Fay was buried in the Vaison-Artois Cemetery.
Today, November 8th, Canadians proudly mark Indigenous Veterans Day. It is a day to commemorate the unique contributions and sacrifices that First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples have made serving in the Canadian Armed Forces. From the First World War to the Korean War, and still very much today, Indigenous peoples have volunteered their diverse talent and skills, with more than 12,000 Indigenous women and men answering the call of duty to serve Canada with pride and honor. Even though they donned the same uniform as their comrade in arms and upheld the same oath to defend Canada, at home they were denied the very rights and freedoms they fought to protect. So as we remember their courage and determination during the world's darkest hours, all Canadians should recognize the barriers like racism they overcame just so they could enlist. Many of them served on the front lines, and many of them never returned home. We honor those who made the ultimate sacrifice to defend the freedom we all enjoy today. And we must do better to learn their stories. Stories like that of Private Thomas Godcher, a member of the Anishinaabe First Nations who fought valiantly and died at Vimy Ridge. Or that Indigenous veterans like Mary Grey Eyes, who broke down barriers in the Canadian Armed Forces. Or of Tommy Prince and his legendary bravery. But there are many others whose stories are not as well known. For over a century, thousands of Indigenous peoples have stepped up and contributed their unique skills to the Canadian Armed Forces. They have assumed leadership roles in fields across the Canadian Armed Forces, from engineering to medicine, mechanics to system specialists. Today is a day for all Canadians to seek out their stories, to celebrate each of their contributions and sacrifices, and to honor their passion, dedication, and service, which is a model for all of us. Let us take the time to consider, commemorate, and celebrate the unique military contributions that Indigenous peoples have made for Canada and continue making today. Let us thank them for their service. Merci pour votre service, lest we forget. N'oublions pas.
Attention! On guard, present. Arms.